Well, we have a April month recap. I'm going to pop off the screen for 1 second so you can see the entirety of the stats here on TradeZella. And what we have is a profit of $88.52. I'm going to call this a break-even month. Now, technically it was green, but last month was red, but not by much. If we were to go back to last month, I can go back and pull it up. Last month we lost 191, so like $200 with a 33% win rate. So a very bad win rate last month. This month, have we come back and made it better? We kind of did, because we finished green technically, but not by much, and the win rate was slightly better. So, But now I want to dive into all of the stats. I want to pull up, dive into the details, the nitty gritty, talk about what I see, how I'm viewing things, and all that good stuff. So let's go. I'm going to go from left to right, and we'll kind of walk it piece by piece. I love these videos because these are my favorite videos to make, because I like the stats, and it's my chance to, obviously I can do this whenever I want, but it's my chance to kind of talk out loud. It's like literally just my brain talking to my brain, like me talking to me. Like, what do I see and how I want to kind of like move into the next month, right? With what I'm seeing, how the market is, my executions, etc. So 26 trades, not a lot of well, that's not bad. Really isn't as many because some of them were copied on the trade copier. So we're probably looking at like 20 or less trades for the month, which is not that many, averaging like less, well, about one a day, probably roughly, before, when you count weekends. But there are some gaps in there. Obviously, I didn't trade every single day, and I've been swing trading a lot more as of late, and I like that more. However, in choppy conditions, as we've been kind of seeing, it maybe isn't always the best, because especially during earnings time, and when we have a lot of news, headline risks and stuff, then, we kind of get up day, down day, up day, down day. And that's kind of been what's been happening. And the biggest thing I'm going to say is this. I'm going to jump back to the S&P. If you haven't seen yesterday's trade recap, check it out, because we had a nice little trade recap there. But this is where I come back to a lot. And what I see, what I mean by that is, what I want to see for me, what I have realized for the way I trade my strategy, what I want is trending S&P, whether it's down, whether that's up, okay? And I want to see my list of stocks also doing that, okay? But to a larger degree, right? So the S&P has been up a little bit the past couple of days. I want to see, whatever stocks I'm looking at up more, right? I want to see better or relative strength, right, compared to the S&P, but I want to see alignment with the S&P or the NASDAQ and generally the whole overall markets. And what I've noticed as of late is that we're just not getting the great alignment. Whereas what I mean by that is some days S&P up, and if I go to like my main list, which is like these stocks above me, which I'm going to scroll a little bit and you can see some of them, or actually I'll pop off so you can see. My main list are these guys, my go-tos. The problem is that like some days, some of them are up and some of them are down. You are not getting consistency across all of them with the S&P. S&P will be up, then you'll have Tesla, you'll have Nvidia and Google down, and then you'll have S&P down, and you'll have, Microsoft, Apple, AMD up, and the other ones are down. And so you're getting like this, like some are up, and the trend generally has been up, obviously as of late. But for a momentum strategy, which is what I trade, that's not optimal, which is totally fine. Totally fine. And I have come to grips with I don't care, because if I just do what I do and I just trade the way that I trade, and let's say only 6 months out of the year are good months for my strategy, even 4, that's fine. That's fine as long as I manage risk, which you can see that I have done, because it would be easy. It'd be very easy, in my view, to, in the past me, would be, man, this shit's just not going. Like, we're 42% win rate, kind of sucks, right? And the shit's just not working. We're feeling like, man, this is kind of sucking. And you get frustrated, and then so you size up, take bigger trades. You say, this is going to work. And then you start snowballing, and then, next thing you know, you lose, and then you're like, I got to take it back. Boom, boom, boom. So then you unravel. Now, if I dive deeper into this, is there a lot more to say really about that? No. I mean, just simply like, I have not seen a lot of great setups for me. For somebody else, could be great. For 1 minute charts, maybe you got a lot. Maybe for 5 minute charts, a lot. But I have been more so focusing on the bigger time frames, because what I look for is bigger time frames, and then the smaller time frames will fall under the bigger time frame breakouts or breakdowns. And so when I get that, great, I will narrow it in, I'll focus in. But if I'm not getting that on the bigger time frames, then there's nothing to really narrow into, because my probabilities of trading the lower time frames without a bigger time frame confirmation are so much worse, so much lower, that I literally have come to just say, I'm not going to bother. I'd rather spend my mental energy somewhere else. Seriously, it's seriously what I do. So that's like in a nutshell, kind of how I've been feeling about the month overall, past 2-3 months now. And that's okay, because it will eventually turn, which I'm actually excited for when that turn does start to happen. And I'm starting to see a little bit better action, but we'll see. Average win-loss, I'm super happy with this number. If we go back to last month, I believe this is better. Yeah, average win-loss last month was actually not that good. It was barely, we just didn't have a lot of trades last month. This month, we, had a lot more trades, and our average win-loss makes sense. Technically speaking, if I had a 1.46 average win-loss, dude, oh man, I will take that every single day, because I know that on average, like, I'm 48-ish% winner. Big picture, like, broaden it out, so we're not that far below what the average is. But if I just had, if this number was nudged up by like 1 or 2 trades, like literally 1 or 2 trades, with a P&L swing of a couple $100, like, then okay, now you have a couple $100 P&L month, which is not as bad P&L wise. It doesn't look as bad. So that's that. Now, plan for, before I get into the nitty gritty details of my setups and all that, which tickers maybe the most money, the plan for next month, just wrote this down, was kind of thinking this out. If conditions allow and we have momentum, and I'm seeing some good signs, if that occurs, the plan is to be sizing up. So average winner this month was 117, average loser was $80. If I go back to last month, let's see, average winner was 94, average loser was 90. That was not that great. That was actually lower than this month. My plan is to start nudging that up, getting the average winner up into the 200s, and the loser will come up into the 100s, probably. Maybe it won't, but it probably will. But we're going to start moving that needle up. And the plan by the end of the year is that if we get a good month or 2 or 3, or we start getting some better action, for me, when I see opportunities, I want to be sizing where we're talking hundreds instead of we're talking, and our P&L swings are bigger, because I'm ready for it, and it's time to do so, because it's now been over 1 year of absolutely dialing in, trading one strategy, trading one way, not looking back, and focusing in only on my own shit, not looking at anybody else, not giving a shit what someone else is thinking, doing, bias, this or that. It is only what I see. What I want the takeaway, if you're to take away from that, would be figure out what you like and do that yourself. This is not to learn, in my view, to learn or how to trade this way. Maybe this way makes sense for you, and I have plenty of recaps to go back and you can learn more about what I'm looking for, but maybe it doesn't, and that's fine. And who cares? You can trade whatever you want. So let's get into the reports, baby. This is what it's all about. So we have some stats on the top end, front end. If we look at the largest profit trade was 226, largest loss 191. Good. We have a bigger winner than a loser. That's a good thing. Average hold time was 1 day, 6 hours, 9 minutes. So we're taking trades that were taking longer, and on losing trades they took less, usually because they hit stop losses faster. We kind of know the general gist of that. Okay, cool. If we look, let me go through trade time duration, not really so useful. Let's look at the instrument, which is what I'm more so interested in. All right, let's get into the instruments. Now, I think I just completely fucked up where I was covering the screen. So I'm going to get myself off the screen so you can see this. Okay, top 10 symbols. This is for the year. I went through this entire thing and then I have to re-record it because I didn't realize. So for this month, gold, silver, and oil, which were traded on my 1 of 1 account, and then all stocks are traded over on this account. The 1 of 1 account, we're at around $26,100 is our current balance. This account, we're just below 10K, which is where we started at. So you can see that we had less, obviously not as successful a month there on this account, but not bad. The worst performing symbols, let's go into this. Bitcoin this month, AMD, the Russell. Bitcoin, for whatever reason, this month just didn't work. Just 3 trades, 3 losses. We lost $490 on it, and they all just didn't work. It is what it is. What are you going to do? Sometimes it's how it goes. So now let's go down to where we have setups, mistakes, and then custom tags. These are my favorite parts. So bear flag. Now, really quick, if I do sound like I have a lisp, it's because I have Invisalign that I got about a week ago, and it's still, I'm getting used to it, but we're getting better. Bear flag, bull flag. This right here, like, sums up the month in my view. Why? Because in a trending month, we would see, one of these being much larger than the other. But we had so much inconsistency that I literally played half bears, half bulls. And is it surprising that this month was, from a guy who trades momentum, is it surprising that this month was essentially a flat month when you trade half bear flags, half bull flags? Not really. Not really, because I look for momentum, and when I can identify momentum, if a couple months a year we have good momentum, great. I can make my money and then F off the rest of the time. Failed breakdown and then a failed breakout. Trade those two, one each, one winner, one loser. Not much there. I'm slowly gathering data on those. It's going to take probably the rest of the year for me to have enough data to say, are these worth trading? And, we'll see. If I go to this year-to-date stat, so far, like, it doesn't look bad. I mean, promising, but there's not many trades. There's 7 trades total that are, essentially the inverse of my strategy. So I don't have a ton to go off of, but when we have maybe 30, 40, 50, hopefully, well, maybe that's a lot, 20, 30, 40, we'll have more data, and then we'll see, are we really profitable or not profitable with trading those? So back to this month, that was setups. Let's talk about mistakes. Board didn't take profits, FOMO, low volume. Low volume was on the Russell trade, which was from a couple days ago. If you want to go back to that recap, there were boards, meaning I really didn't need to get in. FOMO didn't really need to get in on those 2 trades, which not big, but not a huge deal. But that was, a little minor thing that we lost some money, that we didn't have to lose some money on those. And then did not take profits. This was on the Wells Fargo trade. If I just framed the trade better, would have been a really good trade and would have made me like probably $200 or $300 from the way that it moved. I framed the trade from a much bigger perspective, and I didn't really account for it being Wells Fargo and not NVIDIA, and the type of move I should be expecting percentage-wise and whatnot. So that was really the problem there. Now, custom tags, I'll pop into this, and then I'll pop back up on the screen in a second. So you'll see. The point I was just making before I had to refilm this was daily chart, not good this month. Not good at all. 5-minute chart, great. So that would tell you, okay, you're better off sitting in front of your screen during the day and trading the 5-minute chart than taking swing trades. You would think that, right? However, jump out to year to date, and it's still by far and away the daily chart is making me the most money. Still, even after a terrible month for the daily chart. Still good stuff. 5-minute chart is next in terms of how many trades I've taken this year, and it's not nearly as good. And the thing is, the 5-minute chart, in terms of bang for my buck, in terms of time on the screen, to make $192, I have spent 22 trades, and each of those trades, I can guarantee you, is 5 to 10 minutes or more. So, right, so do the math on how much per hour that's going to be. A lot less, right, dollars per hour than this 1 hour with this 1 day chart, which I can tell you for sure, despite there being more trades on this, I spend a lot less time looking at charts when I take daily trades, and it makes me more money, which so far that's great. So this is what I'm more so concerned about, okay, than anything else. And when you zoom out, that's still looking good. However, good sign on the 5-minute chart that we made more money on the 5-minute chart. Maybe I should be focusing on that this week. The weekly chart we had, I think, 1 trade that was on silver. That was early in the month. We had literally just 1 trade on silver on that, and that was the deal. So there you guys kind of have it. That's a look into my stats for the month. end the year, I guess, and you can kind of see what I'm looking for and what I like, what I don't like in the plan. The plan is to size up again when we get quality setups, and what I'm looking for really right now is consistency in alignment with a bunch of the same stocks doing the same thing, kind of also aligned with the S&P and the NASDAQ doing the same general thing. Does it have to be perfect? No. But if we have consistency and alignment with that, that will give me a much higher probability that we're going to make money on a given trade and that our system will work better if that occurs. If not, no big deal. I mean, I'm not going to force stuff. As you've seen the past 2 months, I have been okay with chilling. Maybe in the past, I haven't been. One more thing to mention about this that I want to kind of cover. What was it? Here it is. For transparency purposes, we have the 1-of-1 account. That's at $26,109.05. This is a 25K account. Our first target is to get to 27K, which we are more than halfway there. And then we have a 6K account that I've been using for a trade copier, which multiple trades that have won didn't copy properly. So we're actually in drawdown by about $200 on that one, which is not a big deal. And we are in drawdown on that guy. So those are the accounts is where we currently sit. And yeah, so if you know the story of the prop firms, I don't really want to get too deep into it, but the prop firm situation has been kind of wonky. I have a video from a couple days back or a couple weeks back talking a little more about that stuff. And I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt for now, but they're kind of on thin ice. And there's a very decent chance that there's a good chance. Maybe I would say a 50-50 chance that I eventually move away from them this year, later on this year. But I'm giving them a chance. And is it a big deal to me right now? No, because the P&L are not that big. As I size up this year, we're going to get to that point of, okay, if there's still problems with you guys, then I'm not going to be waiting around, right, with this, because then worrying about payouts and problems when I'll just have to start building my other account, my Webull accounts back up, and then just trading those. That's the plan. So we shall see, but that's the monthly recap for April. I know it was long. Hopefully you got something out of it. This is TradeZilla, where I do all the recapping and stuff. I'll leave a link to them below. They're great. I pay for them myself, but you can save 10%. I believe there's a link. There's a discount code below as well. You can save 10%, which is good if you want to save 10% and sign up. So there you guys have it. I'll see you in the next one. Enjoy. Hope May sets up beautifully. Peace.